Yeah, charge me up. Amazing, amazing. There we go. How we doing? I'm here to light you up. I'm going to give a quick talk right before Andy's talk. Today I want to teach you how to unlock your highest potential, and we're going to jump into it. So feel free to jump in at any time if you have questions, but we do have time for questions at the end, so take note of your questions. And let's jump into it. First of all, my name is Steven Selly. I'm 31 years old. Andy inspired me to dunk. I was 18 years old. Decided to try this childhood dream, never thought it was possible, being 5'10 and the shortest of my friends. I said, you know what, I'm going to go for it. And there was no Instagram, there was no social media, there was no dunk vlogs, there was nothing. And so I started documenting myself because I thought it'd be very cool if I can show myself where I couldn't even touch the rim to now dunking, hopefully, at the time. And Andy was my height, he was 39 at the time, and he had videos of him touching the rim to dunking. So I now believed it was possible because I saw it was possible. But a big theme of this whole talk is that now once you believe it, you could see anything, meaning you can make anything happen if you believe it first. So for those that really don't know, this was my first day one. I think the internet cut out again. No. This was day one. After I already hung on the rim, I just started to record. Could barely touch the rim. This was after a few months of training. Again, of flexibility. And then fast forward a few years, I became my higher self.
I don't know what you heard about me, but a bitch can't get $1 out of me. No Cadillac, no perms you can't see. Then I'm a motherfucking B.I.M.B. I don't know what you...
Yay. Okay. Eat 'em. Okay. So, yes. You never seen that? Who's never seen any of those? There we go. Okay, Logan. Thought we were friends. Okay. 9'9". I never got 10 feet, but we're still working. Okay. So I increased my vertical 14 inches. When I started, a dream of mine was to hang on the rim when I was 18, just to hang on the rim, because I thought if I hung on the rim, I'm hanging on the same rim that NBA players hang on. It blew my mind. And I did that. I'm like, wow, I think this is trainable. And then I did all of that. Ended up measuring my vertical. The highest I measured was 42.5 at dunk camp. And I think I got a little higher after that. So I think 43, 44. But the point is like way beyond what I thought was possible. So it really changed my life, and it led to this understanding that this journey is of self-mastery, which is what I hope today's talk leaves you with. And yeah, actually I wanted to ask you that. So you guys, when are you considered a pro dunker? Shout it out. Paid. Great one.
Win a contest.
Win a contest. Anybody else?
Black band, get paid, and this is kind of not as important, but like I feel like a lot of pro dunkers would be like 20K followers.
Okay.
It's just a part of the game.
Interesting. Very cool. What did you say over here?
For me, I said participate as well. Participate in dunk contest.
Oh, cool. Okay, great. The answer is you're a pro dunker right now. You don't train as a pro dunker once you achieve all those things. You don't achieve those things and become a pro. You start becoming a pro now in your day-to-day. The pros that you see now didn't start believing they're a pro once they hit those things. They had to train day in, day out to become a pro. So what are the physical aspects of training? Shout them out. Strength training, anything else? Physical. What's physical about your training? Speed. Good one. Power. Endurance. Really great. So there's the physical aspect of training. So the top three I have are sleep, nutrition, and body awareness. So body awareness is listening to your body. The best people you'll see out here today are the masters of understanding their own body. We have amazing coaches and trainers, but you need to understand what your body's doing, how to get your body to respond, and they can teach you, but you guys need to understand your body. So I hope this helps you master your own body. Now with sleep, let's see if this graph pulls up. And that's what I was talking about. Only you know how you feel. Only you know how much effort you put into a jump. Only you know how sore you are. Only you can know your body. So the coaches are fantastic, but you have to continue to master your own body. So sleep, this graph isn't working, but this is from a book called Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. He was on a lot of podcasts, highly recommend it, but this changed my life because sleep affects everything we do, from the way we perform to the way we make decisions. And if you look at this one, it's saying our behaviors, our cognitive, our physical, all the ups and downs of that. Anxiety's up, irritability's up. This is all under 7 hours of sleep. So anytime you get a sleep under 7 hours, all these things happen to you. And the graph that's not showing here, your likelihood of injury goes way up just when you have less than 7 hours. And 7 hours is not 12 in midnight to 7 a.m. That's not a good solid 7 hours because there's wakefulness. And a lot of us have close to an hour of wakefulness through the night because we go in through cycles as you sleep. So if you consider that, you need 8 just to get 7 with time. And a lot of us also, we say we're going to bed at 10, we start getting ready for bed at 10, we fall asleep at 11, we're like, I went to bed at 10, but you really didn't. So I actually wear an activity tracker, so if you need help with that, there's different trackers, but if you can really prioritize sleep, it's going to massively change your performance. Nutrition, processed foods. Anybody know what processed foods are besides just looking at them? Can you describe them at all? What makes a food processed? Very good. Yeah, not natural. Anything else? So it's just how many steps away it is from natural. So when you pick fruit off a tree, that's natural. When you make it into jam, it's still very healthy because say it's just like apple juice, but now it's processed. It's just not its natural state. So a lot of these that you see here are further and further away from their natural state, and they add these different chemicals and different things. And the more natural you can get, the better your body's going to respond, the better performance you're going to have, and it's just extremely important. So one big one is just try to stay away from the processed foods. I know you may be eating a lot of them now, but if you can start to add plants is a huge one, and just add real foods, add whole foods, add different colors. That will be the easiest way for you guys to eat a nutritious meal for yourself. And by the way, I'll send you guys this. So you don't need to take every single detail. Just take some nuggets away. So yeah, add colors, whole foods, plants. So you don't need to cut out things. A lot of like nutrition movements right now are about removing certain foods and not eating certain things. Even I said don't eat the processed foods. If you could just eat plants, better be tagging me. Just kidding. You better be eating plants because it's helping with everything that you do. It's going to help your gut. It's going to help you process the other foods you're eating, and it's just very healthy. Add your greens and water. If you can drink water throughout the day, you need at least a gallon a day, especially as an athlete. If you're training hard every day, a gallon. Bring a bottle with you everywhere you go. I have mine over there, especially if you're drinking caffeine, which dehydrates you. Water is the fuel source for everything that you do. If you get headaches ever from caffeine, that's because you're dehydrated. Almost all headaches are dehydration. All right, so this is just a quick example. Look at this Lara bar. If you're looking for foods to eat, 3 real ingredients. It says the ingredients here on the back. A lot of times it says it on the front, but they add all the things here. This one's decent. It says chocolate, dates. Dates are just fruit, almonds, walnuts, and sea salt. The less ingredients, the better. That's why I have here less is more. So if you want a really simple diet, just try to eat natural foods, get tons of protein, get tons of carbs. You're training like crazy. Daniel Back from Jump Science says it really well. Eat when you're hungry. But if you can fill your body with this fuel, it's going to perform way better. Okay, so all of these different things seem like a lot, but if you can start with tiny habits, they're going to add up to a routine that's going to help increase the amount of energy you have. Because just like any routine that you've done forever, driving a car, brushing your teeth, it doesn't expend any more energy, and you can now add to what you do. So if you start drinking more water consistently, like right now I don't have to think about that. I bring that everywhere I go. But when I first started, I'm drinking so much water, then I'm like realizing I didn't drink enough, so I'm trying to drink enough before I go to bed, then I'm peeing throughout the night. I wake up to pee, I'm not just pissing myself. But that was something that had to take practice. But once you practice these habits and they grow, they're going to be able to compound. And when you see this at first, by the way, energy is not stagnant. You're never on the middle line. You're either getting away from your goal or towards your goal. And if you're here, you may not notice a difference from these bad habits, but then they exponentially decline your performance. So you want to go towards, so keep this in mind because this compound effect is always working in your favor. Mind, what does mind mean to you? What does mindset, mentality mean to you? Confidence, love it. What's a great mindset that you guys cultivate? Do you guys even try to cultivate a positive mindset?
I was going to say another one, resilience.
Resilience is fantastic. What's that? Remaining at peace. That's a huge one. That's a great one. So the next part of this whole section is the subconscious mind. So we had the whole physical aspect. Now we're into the subconscious mind. 95% of our actions are actually subconscious, which we'll learn about. It's not as much as what we're choosing to do, but what we believe in ourselves is happening. So as you look here, you have this unconscious part of your brain, then you have this conscious awareness, and then you want to move your wrist, for example, you want to dunk, and then you take the action. All of us believe we can jump higher or else we wouldn't be here. That's how I was before I started my journey. Nothing changed when I saw Andy's videos in my body. It was my mindset. It was my ability to say, you know what, I believe I can do this now. Then I took the actions to start training. And that's also what I mean by training as a pro. If you believe you can be a pro, you'll start training like a pro now. Anybody heard of the reticular activating system in your brain? We got one. What is it? Do you know? It's a little complicated. You're what? I can't hear you. One more time.
Controlling alertness.
Alertness, somewhat. I'll answer the question. It's a filter in your brain. So right now I have a quick exercise for you guys. Think about your feet. What are you feeling in your feet right now? What are you feeling touching the skin? Can you name a few things you're feeling in your feet? Shoes. You can feel your shoes? Socks. Anything else? It's like warm. You can notice a lot more about your feet when you're focused on them, right? So if you're not focused on them, that's still happening. You can still feel those sensations, but you weren't focused on that. Throughout the world, we have so much stimuli going on, we can't think of everything or feel everything at once, so our brain has to filter. But the thing about this filter is that we can choose what to focus on, just the way we chose to focus on our feet and notice those things. So what are we doing to choose that focus? I think that's the next slide, actually. Actually, it's this. So it's a filter. It screens out junk. It acts like an executive assistant. I like this one. It allows you to focus on what you value. And if you don't know what you value, haven't got clear on what you value, it's going to focus on those things that maybe your limited mind thinks you value. For example, we'll talk about social media. You might see growth or people with big profiles, and you might value that for the wrong reasons, and you're going to focus on that. So we want to get really clear on what we truly value, so that way our subconscious and this filter is working for us. Compound effect, up. Choose your focus. How are you choosing your focus? You get to choose what that is. Now that you're aware that that's happening, I'm going to teach you how to choose what to focus on. What is a limiting belief? Anybody? What does it mean to have a limiting belief? You can't do something. What do you think it stops when you have a limiting belief? If you have one of those things, how do you think it affects you? Sad? Don't have courage. I heard another one. Definitely affects confidence. Really fantastic. So a limiting belief. Yeah? Yeah, for sure. Definitely limits you. So this is something I came across in my journey when I was starting to notice I was getting stuck. I was plateauing. I always came back to a new belief I had about myself, whether it was a certain dunk, a certain way to dunk. I didn't have enough stamina to dunk in a game. All these things were beliefs that I can now change. And if you look here, this is the order things happen. You have these beliefs. They turn into thoughts, turn into feelings, which turn into decisions, and that's how you act. So if you truly believe differently or believe in your higher self, you're going to be able to act in that way. And if you're repeating things, you're getting stuck, or you're not, maybe you're even self-sabotaging where you're not eating the way you know you should, that knowing is something that you know you can be living like a pro, but you're not allowing yourself to do it. So how do we get down to those beliefs? So we have some practices. The first one here is speaking. One of the best ways is to think about what are your actions, like looking at your physical actions, and also what are you saying? When you miss a dunk, what's going through your head? I can't believe I missed that. I suck. I'll never be able to hit it. Or are you saying, that's another rep. I know I'm learning something here. Because the second you're able to say, I'm learning something from all these reps, or I know I'm getting better, you're going to use that filter to your advantage to start seeing things that help you get better at what you're doing. The next one is journaling. So very simple. You guys have this new Dunk Camps journal too, is writing down what your goals are. How many of you write down your goals of what you want to hit? Nice. Nice. Yeah, writing down the goals are huge because now you put it into reality. You're saying, you know what, this is actually what I want to go, and it's going to help you hyper-focus on that goal. And there's a lot of other journaling practices I can go into, but basically just writing, I'm getting better, I'm doing my best, I'm training harder than anyone, I have confidence in my abilities. That's going to change the way you approach your training in every single dunk session versus not doing it. Again, think of that compound effect. If you're not doing that, you're not even understanding what thoughts are going in your head, and journaling is one way to make them very solid. And the last one I have is reading and podcasts. Reading is very powerful for you to learn from other people that have done it before. Podcasts, there's so much information out there. What are you listening to? What are you reading? And reading I love because it gets you off the screens. It's really good for your brain. It sharpens your mental clarity. It sharpens your ability to make decisions because the act of reading is not like a screen. It's translating words, makes pictures in your brain. There's a lot of studies that show that reading is very good to sharpen your brain. And I have lastly down here a little asterisk that morning, night, subconscious programming. What I mean by that is when you first wake up and when you're about to go to bed, you're closer to those subconscious brain waves, which is a great time to infiltrate and plant those seeds into your subconscious to help you focus on what you want. So reread your goals when you first wake up, or read them right when you go to bed, and then you can visualize them, and it's a fantastic way to start using all these powers to your advantage. Okay, quick quote is, your subconscious mind does not argue with you. It accepts what your conscious mind decrees. So if you say, I can't afford it, I can't dunk, I can't do this, your subconscious mind works to make it true. Select a better thought. That's what I'm saying. You guys have the power to choose that thought, and if you're not doing that, a lot of times we're focused on the negative. Energy. What does energy mean to you? Energy. What kind of energy does it take to dunk? Anybody? What's happened? A lot. It takes a lot. It sure does. Anybody else? Flow. I love that. Yeah, for sure. What does flow mean to you? Amazing. Yeah, I think of flow as like all your energy is here present. A lot of times what I'll get into is like your mind is somewhere else. You're thinking, what if I miss this dunk? What if I don't do this? What about tomorrow? And then you're not thinking about here. If you can do your best here, all your energy's here, you're going to perform your best. So yes, energy. Everything is energy. I'm going to jump into this really quick. This is really deep into things. But this is,
the theory that tries
can I
to
fast
answer
forward
the
this?
question, what are the basic, fundamental, indivisible, uncuttable constituents making up everything in the world around us? The idea is like this. So imagine we look at a familiar object, just a candle and a holder, and imagine that we want to figure out what it is made of. So we go on a journey deep inside the object and examine the constituents. So deep inside, we all know you go sufficiently far down, you have atoms. We also all know that atoms are not the end of the story. They have little electrons that swarm around a central nucleus with neutrons and protons. Even the neutrons and protons have small particles inside of them known as quarks. That is where conventional ideas stop. Here's the new idea of string theory. Deep inside any of these particles, there is something else. The something else is this dancing filament of energy. It looks like a vibrating string.
Boom. That's why it's string theory. I don't know if you can see that, but the point of this is that everything in our physical reality, down to the atom level, atomic level, is a vibration. Everything is built off of vibration. Nothing is stagnant. There's no things standing still. So if we know this, our bodies are vibrating. Our thoughts are vibrations. All of these are at play. So this is from Joe Dispenza. He's got a lot of great books. One's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, helping get out of patterns. But if you can see these emotions as different vibrations, it's helpful to see how they can change the way you approach everything you do. So things down here like fear and anger, compared to love, joy, appreciation, gratitude, they're not going to vibrate as high as these positive emotions, which is going to help you perform your best and choose the best thing for yourself. And if you're acting out of here, it's going to be slower. You're going to be stuck. You're going to be spiraling downwards, which is not what we want. So now another way to see this is your goal. Say it's the highest dunk goal you can think of. These are the different wavelengths you're on. A lot of times we're stuck because we don't believe in this goal. But if we can act in this goal's energy, aka becoming a pro if that's your goal, then you're going to be acting from here. Maybe you haven't achieved the goal yet, but you're going to be acting on the wavelength of this goal. So you're going to be thinking, acting, making decisions from this mind. And if you truly believe it, you're going to start doing it. I'm sure a lot of you, before you could dunk, you might have thought of it, played as a kid, but until you really started, you know what, I'm going to do it, now all the things started to align with this new goal. So you don't attract, meaning you don't achieve things by what you want. You align with what you're being. So if you want to become a pro, you have to align with what a pro does. Now, this is another map of consciousness by David Hawkins. He wrote the book Power vs. Force. And what I really love about this, everything under from here down spirals you downwards, keeps you stuck, doesn't allow you to expand. Everything courage and above radiates energy to help you expand. And he's done a lot of studies, and I think one of our teachers here, one of these years, did a study here when your strength output, if you're thinking positively, you have a higher strength output. And if you're thinking negatively, you have a lower strength output. So there's a lot of studies done to show that these emotions and these feelings and these energies can actually help you become stronger and perform your best. And what I love is the line of courage. So just having courage is all you need in these moments to start acting on these higher frequencies. So here's a couple practices. Meditation, this is a great one to build your awareness. It's simply just breathing, being still with yourself, and if you're able to build your awareness, then when you're training, when you're dunking, you can start to build that body awareness to understand what you're doing. Early in my years, I was jumping, then I had a bad day, jumped again, and I had a bad day. Then I'm like, I'm going to jump till I have a good day. I didn't have any understanding of how sore I was, how tired I was, all these different thoughts. Until you slow down and able to build that awareness, you may be just in these patterns that are not serving you. Then there's visualization. What do you see when you are trying to find the goal that lights you up the most? For me, what was helpful about visualization is that I would see this goal and it was hard for me to get excited. I didn't feel that joy or that freedom. And it's because the goal, I didn't believe in myself enough. So I actually visualized a smaller goal. And when I visualized that, when I started to feel the energy that I can do that, and then I took action to do it and slowly built my way up to bigger and bigger goals. So it's really powerful to get to know yourself by what you're visualizing. And also when you're visualizing it right now, I'm sure you've all had that experience when you think of something exciting, your palms can sweat. It just shows you that when you're visualizing something, it could change your physical body now. So if you're visualizing that dunk, I encourage you all, especially for your contest or your next time you're testing, visualize yourself hitting that, and it should light you up, which I'll get to the last one is hype, which leads into the last one is it should light you up. If it doesn't excite you, yes, it's going to get you nervous, but nervous and excitement are the same energy. It's just your way of seeing it. If it lights you up, that's going to get you in the best state to perform your best. As you see, when we're all gathered around everybody to hit that next goal, when Isaiah was trying to hit 51, that energy is different when everybody's focused on that person. We can all feel that. And he's lit up, he's excited. Now it's not even about him, it's about helping other people feel inspired. He doesn't even know that. That's all subconscious, but he might know that. But the point is, if you're lit up by that goal and you're feeling your goals that strongly and it excites you, you're going to perform your best. I think this is towards the end. This is Bruce Lee's quote, "Absorb what is useful." This goes for what I'm teaching, everything you're feeling in the moment, discard what is not. And there's a third part to this quote that's not shown. Does anybody know what it is? Add what is uniquely your own. So when this specifically comes to dunking, even pro dunking, is like, what's your style? What's your flair? How are you training the way your body needs? Everybody's body is so different. How are you going to add your own flair to that? So use these pros, use the coaches as inspirations, but always add your flair to it. I think this is the very end. The only limits are the ones you put on yourself. There are no limits. And lastly, I don't want to know what you want to achieve. I want to know, and I want you guys to ask yourself, who are you being? And if you could ask yourself that more often, you're going to learn and grow the fastest. You're going to become your higher self and unlock your potential. Because when you ask yourself, who am I being in this moment, no matter what part of the journey you're on, if you just had a bad day, who am I being? I'm learning from this. I'm growing from this. I'm disciplined. I'm going to stay routine. So many people have a bad day, then they eat terrible, or they go out and they almost sabotage themselves even more. But if you don't want to be that person, that's not what a pro would do. So who are you being in those moments, and who do you want to be in those visualizations as well? That's all I got. If you have any questions, we'll take them at the end, but thank you for your time.
Boom. 5'10", but got bounce. Big time where it counts. Going off, I be trailblazing. Can't explain it. I see steps to unknown. Watch me take them. That's for me to know, for you to find out. Try to fight it, but you feel it. Can't deny it when it's real. Give me chills. Ooh, I'm getting right now. Vessel speaking pipe down. Energy on 9th cloud. My mic loud. I'm peaking. Mountain season. Smile. Cheese in my vessel a beacon. I'm dripping with life. Semen leaking. Don't need jobs. Genius bars. Steve is geeking.